going to tell you about myself, my story, how did I get here? Hey guys, welcome back. So you've watched all this video. At this point, if you're still here, then I'm willing to bet that this is something that you really need to make a decision on, right? If you've watched all these videos to this point, it's very likely that you're looking to make that decision, but for whatever reason, you need some closure or whatever. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about myself, my story, how did I get here? So originally, I'm from Ghana, West Africa. Mom and dad met a couple years prior. My dad left Ghana to migrated to Italy to look for a better future for us, my mom and myself and my two sisters. And a couple years later, we moved down there with him. And Dad came to the U.S. for a vacation. He came to see some friends. Came down to Ohio to see a buddy of his, and he fell in love with this place. 2 years later, here we are. We all moved here and went to high school here, went to college, dropped out, and I got into the insurance industry, never looked back. But how did I get here? I actually never planned on getting in the insurance industry at all. I had an uncle who did pretty well selling cars, so that's what I wanted to do. So I try to get into the car sales business. I get there and I get the job right away because the guy who referred me happens to have the same last name as me. And at the time, he was killing it in the industry. Anyway, I get the job. 2 days later, I get a phone call from them saying, we can't work with you because your driving record is terrible. So there goes that dream. And so I told myself, you know what? I still want to be in sales. Went ahead and got another sales position. And this is where I met the guy who got me in the insurance industry. Talked to me a few times, asked me a few questions. And then one day I just decided to sit down with him. And he opened my eyes to a whole new world of finance. So once I got into it, I was like, wow, I can see myself doing this even at the age of 80, and here we are. How did I get here? So for most people, there's the strategy called the X-curve concept of wealth and responsibility. And if you're like me and you don't come from wealth, you definitely want to pay attention, learn how to utilize this to your advantage. The X-curve concept pretty much means that for the average person, you are wealth more dead than alive. That's how you start your journey, right? So you sat down, you're like, I want to be successful. I want to have a successful financial future. How do I start? For most people, we all have a lot of debt. If you went to college, you have student loans. If you have a house, you have a mortgage. If you got a car, you probably got a car loan, and the list goes on. So for most people, you have to be worth more debt than alive, and then work your way to reverse that curve. So for me, I luckily, when I went to college, I paid out of pocket, but I was only in college for like 8 months and I got out. So I don't have any student loans, right? But I do have a few other loans. So for me, when I was following the X-curve concept, it made so much sense. So I bought life insurance, right? Just so you know, at this point, I have about 2.1 million worth of life insurance on me. But when I started, it wasn't like that. I believe I got like 1 million. And it was to make sure that if, God forbid, something happened to me right now, then my family doesn't have to worry about me, right? So started out with 1 million. So at this point, I'm not worried about if, God forbid, something happens, who's going to take care of it. So now I can focus on building wealth, focusing on my plans, whatever it is that you have, right? So we started out with 1 million. The X-curve concept is the line of responsibility. So responsibility meaning all these liabilities that we have, we want to make sure that they go down over time and then build up wealth over time. We have this strategy where we blend the policy so you have a portion of it that's permanent, so you have coverage for the rest of your life, and then the rest you just buy a term to make sure that if you die too soon, you're covered. If you're here to stay, then you have money to live off of. So that's how I got here. And you can do the same. You don't have to buy a huge permanent policy. You can buy a small one. As a matter of fact, the best way to build up a cash value life insurance is to buy the smallest amount that you can based on the premium. So you pay low fees because the costs associated with the life insurance, the bigger it is, the bigger the cost. So when you're actually trying to accumulate money in there, you want the smallest policy. You don't want the biggest policy, right? And then the rest you could buy term. So that's how I did it. And I'm saying this so you can understand that it's not hard. You can blend the policy. But at the end of this video, there's a link, and there are two links. There's one for, if you're someone that's looking for term life insurance, click the link itself. You do it yourself. It asks you a few questions. You answer, you tell them the amount of life insurance you're looking for. And then we take over from there and try to help you finish the deal. The other one is, schedule a call with me or one of the people on my team, and we will help with a personal financial strategy. So link is below, click it, and I'll see you on the other side. Talk to you soon.